The biggest takeaway I've gotten is if you don't put your material out there, you will never know that some people like it.
This is The Music Executive, a show where we talk about gig tips, music business strategies, songwriting experiences, collabs, and even more with industry professionals. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the show. My name is Cinnamon Denise. That's cinnamon like the spice and Denise like Denise. And today we have an amazing guest. He is based out of New Orleans, Louisiana, and he is an anointed and charismatic musician. And he has an extensive multi-genre music vocabulary and a beautiful sound on his horn, y'all. So today we're welcoming Nakia Peck. Nakia, what's the most beautiful place you've ever seen?
The most beautiful place I've ever seen was Vido, Spain. It was pretty beautiful. It was like a small town. It was pretty beautiful.
That's the name of the city in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. What was beautiful about it? Was it on the coast or?
Yeah, it was the water. It was beautiful for me for many different reasons. All right. So, I'm from New Orleans. You got to reel them in. I'm from a very, I want to say hood area, right?
Okay.
And like, this was the first time I felt human, Like the people was beautiful. They were speaking to me like I was a citizen and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They were like, hey, it wasn't, hey, black guy. It was like, hey, guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a difference. You felt like a person instead of some sort of spectacle or like some sort of anything other than what you are, right? So that's great. That's beautiful. So it's on the eastern coast or the southern coast? I
couldn't even tell you. I don't remember.
You were just there for the ride,
man. So I was there so I wouldn't get fined. I had to get paid,
There you go. Well, y'all, welcome Nakia to the show. Nakia has been a great person to just get to know. And I want Nakia to tell you a little bit about his story. So Nakia, what inspired you to get into music?
Great question. And I would say it's more of who than what. All right. So as I was talking about earlier, I was a bit of a knucklehead, growing up from the mean streets of New Orleans, It wasn't that mean, but you get what I'm saying? My mom was like, Nakia, you got to get your act together. So she would bring me these different programs to get a mentor. So I'm like, cool. I'll get my little mentor, Ma, And finally, I got a mentor who was pretty cool. The man didn't curse. He didn't lie. He was like straightforward. And he would always say, Nakia, bring your trumpet to church and we're going to play. Just so happened, he was my music teacher as well.
Oh, okay.
Fast forward a couple of years later, come to find out my mama told the man just to mentor me. He wasn't even in the mentor program.
Oh, she said, this is going to be your mentor. That's how moms are though.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, Ma, you set me up. She knew I like music. She just set it up.
Set it up. Well, that's good. Your mom had your best interest at heart, right? That's so good. Yeah. Moms are amazing. Shout out to all the amazing moms out there. So you got this mentor, and what did this mentor do for you? Like, how did this sort of develop? What did it lead to?
All right. This is what he did for me, really. After being brought up by a single mom, all I seen was how women behave. But I didn't really get to see how men behave. He was the first man I seen like behave like a man. And just so happened, musically, he was super advanced. So I would sit there and I'd be like, man, how is he doing all that? Asking him a silly question like, is that like a major scale? Is that like a Iolian? And he gave me the perfect answer. The perfect answer for a kid whose mind was just everywhere. He said, Nakia, just figure it out. I'm like, dang, hold on. At first I was like, he gotta be hating. He don't want me to be as good as him. But I realized he was using the teaching me how to fish premise. If I keep asking him, I would never know. But if he teach me how to fish, I would be able to do it forever. I would never have to ask him a question again. And I think he kind of mad because I don't ask him no questions no more.
He said, you ain't got no more questions for me? Oh my goodness. That is funny. That's really good. So Nakia, I met you through a friend, but then I started doing some research on you and your content is fire. So the thing about that is it's hard to post consistently, but also post good content consistently. And you've got both of those two things. So today I want to discuss your strategies for consistently posting fire content. Where would you start?
This is where I would start, right? Although you see that every day, you don't see the people in my ear all the time. Before I started posting, I had these guys messaging me, telling me, you have to get over your fear. You're too talented not to do nothing. And I'm a competitive guy. So I'm telling them, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. So I was like, what's stopping me if I'm not scared? So the first thing you really need is a great accountability group, right? They keep me accountable. They message me like every morning, like, what you doing next? That's not good enough. You got to do this. Let me hear it the night before. So they trying to really make sure I do and set and make my goal.
So what qualities do you look for in your accountability group though?
People who's genuine, people that I knew as a child. You know, you have to have those friends who's just like, keep it real, you know. Also people who are trying to do something for themselves. It's not just me. You know, they're trying to succeed at whatever they're trying to do. Luckily, the guys in my accountability group are also YouTubers. Some of them are musicians. Some of them are writers. Some of them are photographers. So they're trying to get out in the space as well. So that's working for me as well. So just genuine people. Genuine people with a great heart.
And so these are all people that in your accountability group, these are people that you grew up with that aren't necessarily musicians, but are in different areas of somehow related to creating content.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha. Now you mentioned that you're like, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. What was really keeping you from doing it then if you're not scared? So what's the issue?
This was the issue. I'm very studious, like studious so much that it's a problem, right? So I want to be perfect. I'm like, let me study this until I get it exactly like Clifford Brown. Let me study this until I sound exactly like Charlie Parker. And one day I realized if I keep studying, I will never be able to master anything. You know, I won't be the master. I will be the person that could read the book. I could tell people how these people was great, but I would never be the person that asks, man, how you played that in your solo. So I was like, let me just change it around and just do it and not really care that I'm going to fail. So I had to get over the fear.
The fear of failure is very real. But you realize it's going to sound so morbid, but I told someone, I said, the worst thing that can happen is somebody's going to say no, it's going to say that it's awful. And then you just move on with your life and nothing happened, like you will be okay. What's another thing that you have, your strategy for posting consistently?
Stick to my niche. You know how you read self-help books and stuff. And I'm like, what's my thing? Who's his thing? I realized that my audience want one thing. They want to see me with a trumpet in my hand. They want to see me with a trumpet in my hand being funny. Now you kind of get around the niche, but if you get scared, just go back to what you was doing when everybody liked it.
It's really that simple, y'all.
Just go back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is one thing you would say when you first started? Like, you post every day. That's first and foremost that y'all need to know. He posts every day, and that is hard to maintain. So how do you sustain that? What's your schedule like? Do you have a backlog of content?
Yes. That's the funny part. In one day, I'll make like 3 different little posts that I can possibly make content. And a lot of times I'm sending them to my friends like, how did this sound? Did this sound good enough to go up there? How did this sound? So just in case I have a bad day and I do not want to post anything, because it happens. It really happens. I can just post something that I already worked on.
Right.
Then it's just fine.
And you keep it
Just
moving.
fine.
That's like doing a podcast though. You know, you got to have your backlog of content. You know, we have episodes out. I'm not sure what date it is today when this episode has came out, but this is probably months ahead of your release date. So that's what you got to do. What is the biggest takeaway you've gotten from your career thus far?
The biggest takeaway I've gotten is if you don't put your material out there, you will never know that some people like it. You know, you're going to be in a constant conundrum of doubt. Like, will people like it? Well, just put it out there. You people might really love it.
Right. And have you found that with some of your content?
Yes. The stuff that I've doubted the most, it was the stuff that people really loved. And I'm like, oh, okay. People like to hear this type of stuff.
And how'd that make you feel when you're like, y'all like that for real?
It made me feel good that on my bad day, everybody loved it.
Right.
And the crazy part is when it comes full circle, on my good day, y'all barely liked it. So maybe I should just have a bad day all the time, you know?
Right. Maybe I should just have a bad day all the time. That's funny. I love that. Y'all, Nakia, you've been a great guest. You really dropped some beautiful gems and you have a lot of insight. I'd love to do a series on even diving deeper on some of your strategies and things that you looking for in your accountability group and all that sort of stuff. So we'll talk off the record, but where can the audience follow you?
Great. That's a great question right there. All right. Everywhere, Facebook, Nakia Peck, Nakia Peck. On TikTok, Nakia Peck, the same. On Instagram, Nakia_Peck. It kind of varies. And if you're interested in some great photography, you can follow me at Nakia's Images.
What type of photography do you do?
Fashion, wedding, parties. Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that. I learned something new. Right. Well, y'all, this has been great. Nakia is really a very charismatic person, as you can see, and he's really passionate about what he does. And that's what this show is all about, bringing people who are passionate about what they do and know what they're talking about and are actually doing what they say they are passionate about. So, Nakia, thank you for being on the show. And y'all take care. Have a great day.
Don't forget to leave a rating of the show. It helps to make us better. Thanks so much. Y'all take care.